than anything, because I know obviously a lot of them follow you and stuff like that. So
that's nice. Aye, Steele, Dave Steele.
aye, he's kind of probably one of the most active ones on social and all that kind of stuff, and he's you'll very rarely hear him say a bad word about anyone, so he always just like takes on board a lot what the big trainers are talking about. And
he's got a good background as well, and you can see like he can relate to a lot of people on that, and he backs all his shit up as well, we'll say.
He's a rent payer, but I mean he's still one of those ones that'll just come in the office and chat to me and stuff like that, and he just like you say, he just gets on so well with people, and he's a good part of the team, like so.
That's good.
Let's get going. So this is the Edinburgh Fitness Podcast, episode 14. Again, thanks very much for those that have listened. This episode, I am back with a guest that I've worked with in the past, so I'm excited to have this guest on. So let me introduce you to Dean McVie. How are we doing?
How's it going, mate?
Good. So as always, I just get the guests just to give a wee background about who they are and stuff like that. So do you just want to give everyone your story in a nutshell?
Right, in a nutshell. Served in the Royal Marines. I've competed in bodybuilding, powerlifting, strongman. Been a personal trainer for the last 5 years. What else? Aye, that's pretty much it. And I'm still at it to this day. Obviously, not real at the moment because of lockdown and that, but we do what we've got to do.
Yeah, exactly. It's adapting in it, and you've probably adapted plenty of time over the years. But one of the reasons I was keen to get you on is because I think you, like you just said there, you're pretty much worn every t-shirt there is. You've done everything pretty much that you can do with your bodybuilding, your powerlifting, and all that kind of stuff. But I know you're mad into your kind of strongman now. So what's made you kind of settle on the strongman compared to the other stuff?
Good question. Bodybuilding was too mentally fatiguing, we'll say. Financially as well. It affected my work, and obviously at that time you were my manager for what I recall, and you knew yourself I was very ratty. I kept thinking people were changing around me, but it was actually just myself. And that was just due to mental fatigue and physical fatigue, and just I love bodybuilding and it was great, but it was too opinionated for my opinion. Right, and then just moved over to powerlifting and strongman. But strongman's went really well. I compete at world level with that. I'm a former world champion. I actually went over to Finland, claimed that title, world's natural strongest man under 80s. Just got a big one. Scotland's strongest man under 80s at the moment. Eastern District powerlifting champion with IPF, which is Scottish powerlifting. That happened in Elysium. Doing at Leith. I hold a couple of titles for the past and that, but I'm just sort of just getting on with it at the moment. That's it.
Yeah, mate, it's, as I say, it's an impressive resume, and probably one of the good things that you, like you say, you've learned from the bodybuilding there would be you're probably more empathetic to people now, when they're going through a dieting phase themselves, because you summed it up perfectly there. You think everyone else has been like an arsehole to you, but then you don't realise that effect dieting has on your perception of things and stuff like that. So,
the whole relationship with foods thing, like I genuinely think I was on the brink of creating an eating disorder. I didn't use the term cheat meals because I call it like a meal that you enjoy. So I'm trying to take that, because the term cheat is bad. It's a negative word, really. So I try and pull that away. Say, right, there's something I've earned, something I enjoy. I've got clients that ask me about, what can I have a cheat meal? I was like, we're going to try and convert that word and appreciate it a wee bit more, we'll say. And not put a negative, derogative behind it. But, yeah.
Yeah, it's rife though, isn't it? It's rife in the industry at the moment. It is this cheat thing and all this kind of thing. And it is something that we need to try and get rid of as the industry, because like you say, those negative associations with food is often built from kind of not just criticising bodybuilders, but the fitness industry as a whole can create very negative impacts with food. So
it's a bit of like a gym bro word, if you know what I mean. A cheat meal.
Yeah.
I've earned this. So what I'll do is I'll just chuck 2,000 calories back to my mouth on a Saturday, and all the calories that were burnt, we'll say, in that calorie bank throughout the week, you've just fucking chucked it back in.
Yeah, no, it's
you know what I mean?
Or because they said it's cheap, they don't feel as bad, but then they feel negative after they do it, and it's just like it's a circle of shit basically. And it's like you say, it's like have it as a meal you enjoy or a meal that you earn. And actually, one of your colleagues, Craig's, just put up a good post there about that kind of fuck it mentality and stuff like that. That, you know, when you see it's a cheap meal, it's very easy to do that kind of fuck it mentality and write off the rest of the week. Whereas if it's a meal you enjoy, you go right, I'm back into it the next day kind of thing.
I totally agree, mate. Totally.
So give folk a wee idea of, because I've seen your videos, I've seen you do it in person. My computer's been shaking in my office when you've been deadlifting. Give people an idea of the numbers that you're lifting and moving in regards to weight and stuff like that.
Well, I compete in powerlifting, which is obviously just squat, bench, and deadlift. Weight categories in strongman and powerlifting are slightly different. So powerlifting, I can be under 82.5 or 83, but my biggest lifts I've squatted competitively, we'll say, not in the gym, I've squatted 245, I'm sure, about 245 kilo, and that was weighing about 81.5, benched about 150, and I deadlifted 252.5 kilo. Non-competitive, I've deadlifted 260 with straps. I've squatted a quarter ton. Sounds better. Sounds heavier when you say that. and I'm sure I benched 155. And that's in powerlifting. And strongman, there's so many implements, but like the biggest ones would be like a yoke, where you put like a frame on your back and it fries your central nervous system. Absolutely cooks it. But I've done a 400 kilo yoke for 10 meters. I actually ended up online quite a lot. I actually spurred up a wee bit. No gossip, but like, who the hell's this lad doing this? Because it was. I actually ended up in hospital that day as well. I ended up screwing something in my back as well, but it was worth it because it went away. Log press, which is just a strongman implement. I hold the unofficial. It's not official. If it's not done a comp, log press record. So I've log press 127 kilo.
You done the other day?
Yeah. So it's my profile on that. I'm listening to fucking like Braveheart and all that, getting all psyched up. But I've done 150 kilo farmers walks, so you just literally just hold them by hand and just walk. But there's so many implements, mate. I could go on and on. But the biggest one is the Atlas stones. If you ever watch World's Strongest Man or anyone that's going to watch us, that's like the big balls, and this just comes from Atlas. Hence Atlas stones. I've done 155 kilo, but you use like tacky, like a resin, and you like stick it on your hands and your forearms, and it just sticks you to the stone, but it rips the shit out of your skin. But you need to sacrifice that to shift the stone better, we'll say. But that's it in a nutshell.
That's insane, man. It's insane numbers. And I remember when you helped me kind of get my 1 rep max on a deadlift, and you got me up to like 160, and I thought that was amazing. And now it's a shame by putting about 100 kilogram on top of that, but yeah, no, mate, it's great numbers, and obviously it shows the kind of hard work you've been doing. So talk people through kind of how this strongman format works. So like, what would a competition potentially look like if you're in strongman?
So usually, if you're if you do powerlifting, for example, I'll just peel it back a bit. You know you're going to do squat, bench, and deadlift. That's it. You get your numbers right. You make sure you have a good opener. The way powerlifting works is you do one lift, then you do the second, then you do the third. Always make sure on your first lift, your opener, they say, it's a weight that you can definitely do. If you didn't get it, that means bombing out. So if you didn't get your first lift, chances you getting it the second time and third time are very low, and then that'll destroy your total, which can really screw things up. And that's a powerlifter's nightmare. But going to strongman, on the other hand, you sign up for a comp online, you just find stuff, because it's always, majority of comps are almost like in a warehouse or in a backyard somewhere. You know what I mean? This is just strongman, this is it. It's growing, it's getting better, hence why we're on this, and I'm trying to grow it as much as I physically can, even though I'm almost one of the smaller guys in the sport, because there's under 80s, under 90s, 105s and opens. The guys at World's Strongest Man are opens. Some of them coming at 200 kilo. So me and you put together, and the rest. It's ridiculous. But they get posted usually about 3 months before, and it'll come down to between 5 and 7 events. Sometimes it's a two-day comp, so it could be four events and another 4 events. So it comes into the standard of what's happening. But all you do is everyone will get their category. So it'll be under 80s, for example, and then every event will be the same for every person, but it's just heavier. So the heavier guys are just a heavier weight, so it's just respective weight for them. But then it's just prepping for it. It's just getting ready. I've got my own coach as well, Shane Germain, who runs MST Systems, and I'm glad I've invested into him anyway. Let's just say that. I've been coached briefly by Delroy McQueen, who's another big guy in the strength world. Really, really, really good powerlifter, we'll say. But I've been with Shane since last year. I think I've been about October. I've been with him, we'll say. But for what I've learned from him, I just converted into myself, and I just adapted and not mimicked him or copied him, but I took parts of what he does. Right, I like that. I do like that. Right, I like what I do here, and I'm just trying to add it all together because a coach has to be coached in the past. I always believe in that, or some form in coaching. Like people just jump on the bandwagon a wee bit too quick, and say they're an online coach or something like that. And I'm like, right, okay. I hope people are still successful with it, but I think if you want to be a really good coach, you need to be coached in the past or had some guidance with someone. That's my opinion, though, and I'm very opinionated.
Yeah, no, and it's refreshing to hear, kind of. But yeah, I think definitely there's probably ego in the industry that people think they can't have a coach. But I heard it put well the other day where somebody said, like, if you don't have a coach yourself or haven't had a coach, you don't value coaching. Because you're always trying to make yourself better, and there's people out there that are better than you, and you learn from them, and that makes you better, and then you pass on that knowledge. So yeah, at some stage, every trainer should have had some coaching, whatever it is.
Totally, mate. The master was always an apprentice at one time. It didn't just happen. You know what I mean? So I always keep that in my mind. Like, you're always learning. I've got all these books and that I'm still learning. I might know of it, and I back everything up, but there's always still stuff to learn. But
yeah, definitely. So how's your training adapted from your powerlifting training to your strongman training?
The beauty of powerlifting and strongman, they've got a similarity because they're both obviously strength sports, and one helps the other, and the other one helps the other, we'll say. So squat, bench, and deadlift are just your mandatory for strength lifts. I could almost hear my nephew shouting there, sorry. That'll all help with strongman and all these kind of things you do in strongman itself, overhead press, all these kind of implements, we'll say, they bind together really nicely, and that's why some people just do strongman, some people just do powerlifting, but I'm like, screw it, I've got the time, I've got the equipment, it's my job, at the end of the day, it's a marketing tool, it's all lead gen at the end of the day, and screw it, I'm just going to do both, and then just bring both realms together. So this is why I've got quite an interesting clientele base.
Well, that's it. I mean, at the end of the day, it's like there's probably not really many clients that can come to you now with something you've not seen. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I know you're training a lot of other coaches in that as well, but I mean, that's what I said at the start. When you've had bodybuilding, powerlifting, and strongman, what else can people come to you with, really?
Totally.
So it's interesting.
I'm just I'm not going to say there's a stigma behind it, but obviously I work in Pure Gym, and it's sorry, my nephew's bloody shouting. I work in a commercial gym, and a lot of members might look at that on my profile and consider it intimidating, but I've sort of just accepted that, like, I'm not going to change for anyone. If you're like, I'm going to attract that, it's like a needle in a haystack, try to find these specific clients in that realm, we'll say, but they do eventually arise, and I still help people with weight loss, etc. I still have a good laugh and that, and help people with their nutrition, etc. But it's so like 95% it's like strength based and hypertrophy, we'll say. But that's the way it is.
Yeah, but I mean it is that kind of finding your niche, isn't it? And I think a lot of times new trainers will struggle when they try and market to everyone, and the good thing is you now go, well, this is me. This is what I do. If you want to train with me, you know what I mean? And it's instead of you having to kind of put yourself out there and try and cover all bases. You're now just showcasing who you are and what you're about, and then people go, that's the guy that I want to train with because I want to get stronger. Yes, I'll lose weight or whatever. And it only comes from, like you say, 5 years in the industry and a number of different competitions and testing yourself and knowing exactly who you are and what you're all about.
Totally, because I love competing. Like I done 10 comps last year and 10 comps the year before, and I've only done one this year in January, doing it at Elysium. I was competing against Dean Robertson. Was it in January? I'm sure it was in January, but he beat me. He's beat me 2 years in a row, and
oh, really?
I got him that. He's a brilliant powerlifter, absolutely phenomenal. But I think he tore his pec or something doing a slingshot. So it was a ridiculous weight, and he just got a bad injury, and he couldn't get his bench up enough in his total to beat me. But I think he knew that, and he's probably seen that coming that year. But he'll probably beat me next time.
It's all friendly competition.
Totally, the camaraderie is good in both sports. It's just a good crack. There's not too much bitching or moaning. You get now and then between federations and powerlifting. But fucking whatever. It's still the same sport, so just fucking get over it and stop bitching about each other. Excuse my language.
I'll put the explicit sign on your one, don't worry.
I was going to say we didn't put that before. I was like, can I swear? It's like, is this tamed verbal or
no, for kids, it's fine. But one of the things that's probably quite good with the strongman is probably the different planes of motion and stuff like that as well, isn't it? Whereas kind of powerlifting is kind of maybe one direction a lot of the time, whereas, like you say with your yokes and your farmer's walks and all those kind of things, there's so many different planes of motion, and I don't want to use functional because that's just a terrible word probably at the moment.
Everything's triple extension, mate.
Yeah.
Everything has to, I call it the sweet spot, for example, because you're talking about the planes of motion. Is like a log press, for example. I'm deadlifting that first, then I'm cleaning it, and then I'm pressing it, and everything has to be, unless you're doing a strict press, which is irrelevant because you're in the strict press in a comp, usually you push press it, so it's have to come from ankle, knee, hip, shoulder, elbow. You know what I mean? Like everything has to, and I call it the sweet spot where everything just goes like this, bang. Because then if you miss it at a certain weight, this is when you see lads just really like pushing through because they've missed that sweet spot or they're just not strong enough for it. And that's why, like even bodybuilding's like quite a three-dimensional sport as well. But powerlifting's better for it, we'll say.
Yeah.
For strongman. Aye.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I always remember that when I was doing my SNC training and stuff like that, and we were doing like Olympic cleans and stuff like that, and they were like, when you're cleaning that weight up, if you get that sweet spot right, the bar is weightless and you're getting under the bar, as opposed to when you're trying to like pull it and drag it and stuff like that, and that's why you can see folk moving ridiculous amounts of weight.
People just like muscle clean it. Like that's what I ended up doing my level 4 on all last year. And as much as I had a base of strength, I knew I was like, right, I need to drop my fucking ego. It's like, it doesn't matter what I've done in the past or anything, it's irrelevant to this. It's like, and I just started for the bottom with this guy. He says, look, mate, I've done all this, but I need to start fresh as it comes. Because I kept muscling it up and that, but then I was like, right, let's drop the weight, like, let's peel it back. You know what I mean? And Olympic weightlifting is difficult. I think on a technicality side, it's definitely more technical than powerlifting, bodybuilding, we'll say. Strongman's like they work well with each other as well.
Yeah,
we'll say. Aye, weightlifting's tough, like.
Cheers, my man. Right, let's have a wee look at the industry. So I asked this question last week in the last podcast. I think it's quite good. So talk to me what you think the good, the bad, and the ugly is in our industry at the moment.
I think it's growing. I think people are more aware. People are being more educated on eating, exercise, the benefits from it, the mental health aspect massively, which has definitely helped me in the past, which I say I can talk about that as well if you want. I think it's, again, it's down to like commercial gyms as well, the amount of members that it's attracting, the amount of people it's bringing in. As much as I'm into strongman and that kind of stuff, I really like working in a commercial gym because there's so many members there. I didn't think you were going to sort of ask me that question. I think all in all it is positive. On the negative side, it can be I'm not going to say it's poisonous, but people can be quite jealous. And this is actually between PTs and coaches and all different gyms and all that kind of stuff. It can be a wee bit poisonous now and then, jealousy and all that kind of stuff. And I think we've all been there at some point, like got a wee bit jealous or something. Or, we're human at the end of the day, and that's what happens. But I don't know. I think people just need to be
there is an ego in the industry, I think. And when people learn to get rid of that ego, that's when they grow and become better trainers. I think.
Totally. Perfect example is like you for people that are listening, like Stephen took me under as a PT myself right after I left the Royal Marines, and I thought, because I was in the Royal Marines and I'd done like 9 years of bodybuilding training and I had a lot of knowledge, I went in and I says, I'm going to be the dog's box, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to fucking take over, you know what I mean? And it didn't, because my ego was in the way. And I came across as intimidating, and I could barely hold a conversation because I was in a military life. And that's how I struggled, like my first year, like easily my first year. And I went, right, I started peeling it back. I said, right, let's try and drop your ego a wee bit here, because it was just getting in the way. It actually stopped me from getting clients. Ego is a horrible thing. It'll hold you back. It's the only thing it'll do. At comps and all that kind of stuff, my ego can kind of be a bit narcissistic because it's just confidence and it's a placebo of that. But as a coach or a PT, I just try and peel it back, and I'm saying I'm just a normal guy that's just going to be training people and making people happier or stronger. Ego's a bad thing, mate.
And it's just like you tied in earlier as well, is like the ego will stop somebody else getting a coach because they think I should know it all. But when you strip that back and go, well, a coach is going to make me better, then everyone wins, kind of thing. So it's definitely something that's rife. But on the kind of positive, like you're saying, the good is definitely what the commercial gyms have done, and probably leading on from that is probably how they've adapted as well now, because like the gym that you work at 5 years ago looks very different to how it does now. So they are starting to cater for different styles of training, and the platforms are there now. There's still cardio, but there's not as much as there was. So there is that kind of.
It's like it's went like that. Like this is the weights room, this is all the CV, and it's sort of just gone like this to the other way, because it's like it was like 70% CV kit.
Yeah.
A lot. And then like we've got CV kit, but it's definitely not as much, because I'm just trying to accommodate more space for weights, because it's, in my opinion, I would take weight training over cardiovascular training anytime. Well, being on a bit of CV equipment, because you can do cardio with weights, easy, and get stronger.
Yeah, exactly. And it is the buzz at the moment is resistance training. People want to do it and stuff like that. So, like you say, it is a good to have that, and the membership base that those kind of gyms that we work in cover now, as opposed to before when there was only about 100 members in a gym or something. So that way. So what kind of advice would you give people? If you were looking back when you first started, what kind of advice would you want to hear from yourself?
Like if I went in and what would I give myself advice back then?
So looking at kind of some of the mistakes you've made, what would you have wanted to know when you first started out training?
Totally, just drop my ego. Fucking that was it. It was the biggest thing. You see it all the time. I don't know how many PTs have came and gone for that gym. And that's just one gym. Like it's in the tens. It's like 2 figures there, Expect to not be too busy in the beginning. You're starting up a business. It doesn't just go boom. It grows all the legs and you get it. It doesn't. You slowly grow and you adapt. And the hardest thing was another thing is like I've got a very red personality, talking about insights. Blue, like you know what I mean. I would call you quite blue because it's all detailed, sunshine yellow and all that, and earthy green and all that kind of stuff. And I was very red, and I was just too direct, and I've come across as quite intimidating. But then the background as well, what I've done just made that colour even darker red. You know what I mean? So that's how I didn't have that many clients in the beginning, and I expected to get them as well. So this is like, why is not happening? And I was just so deluded, we'll say, to that. But the thing is just speak to as many people as you physically can. Do as many classes as you can. especially in the beginning, in my opinion, for your first year, you should be a fucking sponge and doing anything. I remember when I came in, you took me under your wing in the office, and it says, just give me any classes you want. I was like, I don't care. Give me everything you want. I'll learn it, and I'll speak to people. Well, obviously, it didn't work as much as I wanted to, because of the way I came across, but I was willing to learn. You get me? What else? I was just talking to people. Aye, you can do all your fucking raffles online and all that kind of stuff and blah, 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 blah. But talking to people is single-handedly the most important thing you can do, because it shows that you actually care. And then, even if you just talk to them, general chit-chat, and pulling that resistance away, thinking, I don't want that person to think I'm selling PT to them. You know, that holds a lot of PTs and coaches back, because they don't want to have that feeling like, I don't know what I'm thinking, that like, they're no. Just take that away. It says just be a human and just talk to them and ask how they are, and then talk to them again, and then because you're the only, probably maybe we'll say the only PT that spoke to them in that gym, they'll go to you for PT or coaching, we'll say, and that's it. And that point of contact, 2 months down the line, 3 months down the line, is now paid off. If that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely, 100%. And I think you've answered it quite well, to be honest. Is like you say, you've got to learn to be adaptable and learn to work with as many people as you can and start to understand who you want to work with as well, because probably a mistake a lot of people do at the start is, well, not at the start, because at the start you should train pretty much everyone and then get to know it, but they'll get to the stage where they'll take on any client and then they'll be like, oh, I hate training this client. And it's like, well, don't do it then. Like, you know, if that's an hour of your time and if it's dragging you down, then it's like, you know, nobody wants that. Nobody wants to be in a job and go, oh, yeah, you know what I mean? You want to be in a job you love, and we're lucky to be in it.
I still hear that now and then, and it pisses me off on a different level, and I just bite my lip. I'm like, then you fucking train them then. If you're not happy, you're bringing bad energy into it. Like, what is the point? You're just pissing in the wind, and it's just getting 30, 35 quid, whatever, into your pocket, and you're not happy with either doing it either. It's the easiest job in the world, believe me. And it's very financially rewarding as well for such an easy job, as long as you can just contribute yourself to it. It's plain sailing. It is.
Yeah, exactly. And like you say, it's like the selling thing and stuff like that. Is people, when they put pressure on those sales, there's like, I need to be selling and stuff like that. And it's like, well, no, if you're actually going out and doing what you need to be doing and chatting to people, then the sales take care of themselves. Totally. You know, you should kind of always be selling, because that's everyday life. You're selling all the time. As you're selling to your missus what movie to see when you go to the cinema. You're selling your other half what to have for dinner. You're always selling, but just make it natural. And like you say, when you go, I'm just going to go out and speak to folk, then the sales will happen. Whereas when you sit in your arse and do nothing and then go, oh, I need a client, of course you're going to feel pressured when you go and speak to that person. So it's getting out of bad habits kind of thing.
Aye, totally, because it's like, the way I looked at it is like, I'll speak to people, and then I just went, I'll let my own training attract some clients in as well, because it's different and all that kind of stuff. And then like the people that I've spoke to, I've seen me train, and then they're like, oh, look at what he's doing. I was like, I've never seen that. Look at all the weight he's shifting and all that kind of stuff. It's like, he must know what he's doing and all that kind of stuff. And it all just links together. It all starts growing legs onto that potential client, and just go, screw it, I'm just going to go with this guy or this girl.
And one of the reasons that, like, I knew you would do well was, I think some of the best trainers I've met were members of the gym, and they spoke to, like, when I used to work at Quarter Mile, you would speak to me every day when you were in, and I was like, well, why don't you just be here every day, get paid for it, and then speak to everyone? Because again, it's the same at my gym and stuff like that. Is that the ones that were members who spoke to us all the time are now working in, and they're not surprisingly the ones that are flying in the industry. So,
aye, no, totally. I remember when you approached me, and I said, I'm sure I was in the process of actually doing my course, ticking the box, we'll say it, because the learning starts when you actually start working in the gym, but you need that key to open it, we'll say. And you said, I'll take you on, and I was a bit like, what? So they gave me, you got the job, buddy.
So I'm taking all the credit for where you are in life. It's all down to me.
Aye, mate. That, you know, it's credit's due, mate. I'm not going to blow smoke up your ass, but you got me in there. And then I could have went somewhere else and something could have happened. It could have been unsuccessful, the wrong gym. So, credit's due, mate.
Well, like I say, you've kind of summed up exactly why you done well, though. You adapted, you learned, you changed, you left your ego, and that's why I knew you would do well, and that's why you've done well. So let's go and talk a wee bit more about your actual journey as a whole and stuff like that. So you said you were obviously in the Marines and stuff like that. What do you think you've kind of learned from the Marines that you apply to what you're doing now?
I'll pull it back a wee bit more before the Marines, because everything is going to start growing legs here and that kind of stuff. And I'm a big one about mental health, and hopefully I can reach out and help someone, inspire them, or a strong word. But my mum ended up committing suicide when I was 10-year-old, and I never had a father and all this kind of stuff. And my upbringing was difficult, we'll say. My little brother passed away, and I had a lot of dark emotions, and I'm holding on to the past a lot, and pretty much I couldn't forgive myself. So what I was trying to do is, because I couldn't forgive myself, I was trying to prove that I was actually worth something. So what I've done is I'm going to join the military. I'm going to join the Royal Marines. I wanted to join the Royal Marines anyway, but that really, really fired up me for me to do that. So I thought, if I become a Royal Marine, I'm worth something now. It's look at me. And so what I was doing, I was holding on to the past. Does that make sense? So it was a lot of negative energy that was fueling me through it. Even though it was bad energy, it was still getting me through the training, we'll say. And then I did actually get through the training. What I learned for the Royal Marines is what could I bring out this? Sorry, because it's starting to grow legs. Just discipline, self-discipline. You need to put the work in to get the results. No one's going to give you a fucking thing. You need to go out and earn it. And that's referring back to the fitness industry. If you're going to sit on your arse and do nothing and expect stuff to happen, forget it, we'll say. I actually brought quite that bad energy into the gym initially, because I still had that red personality, and I came across intimidating. And this is referring back to in the beginning we were talking about Scott Weddle. That investment actually cost me $3,500, and I'm very open about that. Do I regret investing into that? No, it could have been a bit cheaper, but for what I learned for him, because he ended up connecting me with another guy called Liam Mark Britton, who was sort of like an entrepreneur thing. He actually done, believe it or not, he done a course with Tony Robbins.
All right, cool.
I'm not a guru or something. He's on Netflix. He actually done a retreat thing. Someone that worked with him. It was all affiliated with him, and this guy really, really knew his shit, we'll say. And he pretty much, I went to a mini seminar in Edinburgh. It was actually ran in George Street, because Scott Weddle's for Edinburgh as well. So even these lads feel down south when it all came up, it was just convenient that he was for Edinburgh and I was there. And I was like, right, sound, get the bus down and I'm there. Instead of an 8-hour flight, 8-hour drive, sorry. And he just called me out. And he just says, you're holding on to the past and you can't forgive yourself. And then you do all these meditations and all that kind of stuff. It's not like all that Buddha shit. It's genuinely controlling yourself, getting into your brain a bit more. And then I end up having a mental breakdown in front of 10 lads. And then from there on, that's where I realised it's I was holding on to the past that whole time. And I was still, this is the point where I left the gym and I was still just staying online. It's going back to when I initially started. And then I realised how much bullshit was in my mind. And I couldn't forgive myself because I was trying to do this macho thing. I'm doing bodybuilding. Oh, look at me. Oh, I'm fucking worth it. And this is just holding on to the past. And I was technically just sad and upset. And I never talked about it. That was something I never done. Ever talked about it. And I used to back off as quick as possible. And there and then, as a coach, I went I forgave myself. I can now relate to people and understand what some people are actually going through. And now I can speak to people in a lot more depth, and I always call it a holistic approach when I give people consultations, and I tell them everything about me, about my background, and they're like, that, holy fuck, they're like, I can't believe you just told that. Says I almost go on autopilot anyway, and because I forgave myself, I didn't get upset about it. I can get upset now and then, but it's not going in a negative way. And then people open up a lot. And then I've got clients that have had PTSD, anxiety, physical abuse, mental abuse, all sorts of shit, and they just open up because I opened up to them as well. You were asking about the Royal Marines, but it was sort of, I knew I was going to go on a wave of a rant there, but hopefully that answered something.
No, I mean that was class to be, like you say, to be that open about it, and that honest is probably one of the best things you can do and stuff like that. And it's probably, especially speaking from a guy's perspective, it's something that we don't do enough is actually deal with things. We just push it down, we push it down, and you feel your emotions just get like smaller and smaller and smaller, and then the only emotion you've got is really anger, or like pain, and it's like you struggle to know what kind of happiness is and all that kind of stuff until you start addressing these things and go, well, I don't want to feel like this, I want to feel like this, and I now know what happy is, kind of thing. So
totally, man. Got to say, I ended up pulled a couple of strings through a couple of people. I ended up on STV News. I was there to do two things. I was there to promote the sport, and I was there to promote mental health, and that was it. I wasn't to polish my ego. The only thing I said to polish my ego, because I just wanted people to know, it was like, right, this guy isn't full of shit. I told them to put Scotland's strongest man under 80 kilo under my name. And so he's just putting me right in, just because, usually someone's got like a job title under it when they're getting interviewed or that. So just put that there. And they'd be like, all right, that's got someone's attention. So I opened up about the whole thing. And it's like people need to talk about stuff and like the benefits of exercise. And the amount of people that message me for that, and people that have random people in pure, like Ocean Terminal, obviously, where I work, but Folk Canary, some random people just come up to me and says, it's like, but you're on telly. I says, aye. It's like, that was really great what you done. It's like, one guy turned around and says, like, my dad actually committed suicide and I blamed myself and all that kind of stuff. And for what you just done there, you really, really helped me there. And I started getting a tear in my eye, and I'm fucking training. And I'm like, oh, sorry, mate. I'm absolutely wired on caffeine, listening to like Metallica and all. And I'm like, all right, like, emotion that's come like that.
You'll probably feel that kind of more rewarding than just helping somebody lift sometimes, you know what I mean? Like, to get through to somebody emotionally and to get them to be that honest with you is so big, and especially with guys, it just doesn't happen enough. So yeah, fair play to you, mate, and definitely makes a difference.
It's the whole like macho thing, isn't it? It's like, even though like in Scotland, so that was another reason I put it under my name as Scotland's strongest man under 80s. You're thinking, oh, he must be all macho and kind of like, yeah, strong man, why you not got a beard? Why you not like, it's like, it's not like that. And it's like, the strongest people are the people that can talk about stuff. If you're bottling stuff up, it's like a fizzy bottle, isn't it? You're just going like that, and all your emotions, and you're just going to pop one day. But aye.
No, I mean, it's true. You may not be able to see it. There's actually a mark on my wall behind me, and I've never got rid of it. It's a tiny little mark, and what it was is, I remember my daughter was not getting ready one day, and I got really mad, and I hit the wall, and I've never like lashed out like that, or it was nowhere near her, like she was away, and it was like, as soon as that hit, it was like a light bulb just hit me and went, what the fuck are you doing, Steve? Like lashing out isn't getting you anywhere, and it's not making this situation any better. And I could see kind of the kind of fright in my daughter's face when she saw me do it. And I remember phoning my wife and saying, I've just done something terrible. I feel like a dick. And it was from there, it was a kind of wake up as to, right, you're never going to get to, like you say, to that phase where the bottle's going to burst. Like, I think something guys need to understand is we can have all emotions. We can be angry, and we can be happy, we can be this. But too many guys feel like they're not allowed to be angry, and then they let it all bottle up, or they don't understand what happy is. And it's like, we need to learn how to control our emotions, and like you say, by speaking about things and being open and honest about things, it helps you.
Totally. It's like there's a book called The Chimp's Paradox. If you've ever heard of that. If anyone's watching this, if you want to understand about emotions and all that kind of stuff, like, read The Chimp's Paradox, because the brain is crazy.
Oh, it's mental, and it's an amazing, like, it's an amazing tool, but it's so underutilized, the brain. So when you understand it,
it's a deep read as well.
Oh, it's fun. I remember. I'm sure you recommended me actually, and I read it. But it's a really good read. And Stephen Peters, isn't it? Just really interesting, and the work he done with so many sports teams and all that as well. It's phenomenal. So, so what's obviously lockdown's probably put a few things on hold. But what's kind of the future plans for you? What are you hoping to do, competition wise and stuff?
Well, everything obviously just got on pause, literally. I was meant to have done about another 3 comps if lockdown never actually happened. But I'm doing the online qualifier for World's Strongest Man under 80 kilos. That's in Daytona Beach in America again. I competed in that last year. First Scottish guy under 80 kilos in history to compete at, which was great. There wasn't many Scottish people. I think there was only about 3 of us. Thing is, I competed in Europe's Strongest Man under 80 kilos 2 years in a row, and I got second in both times. So, like, I'm ranked second in Europe, which is sound. I didn't mind that, but I've had more second places in both dinners, mate. Honestly, pisses me off a wee bit, mate. Honestly.
Yeah, that brave is louder.
Aye, that is what it is, mate. Yeah, you're a winner, you learn, mate. Eh? There's a lot of learning. And it keeps you hungry, we'll say. The problem is with lockdown is there's no Europe's Strongest Man this time. So I like qualifying for something the old-fashioned way is by getting a podium. So getting top 3, then you qualify for World's Strongest Man. I did do it 2 years ago, and I did qualify, but I just financially couldn't. I financially could do it, but there was no one willing to invest that money and come over with me, all that kind of stuff. Because it's a big commitment. But, last year we did. One of my close friends, Ryan, who's actually a PT at quarter mile, Ryan Miller, he went over with me. And now, due to the circumstances, the official strongman who run World's Strongest Man, like at Christmas, there's an online qualifier as well. So you need to record the weights you've lifted, and it has to look all official. It's quite anal, to be fair, but it's going to be deadlift, max deadlift, and a max overhead press, barbell, axle, or log. So I need to do that. That's the only focus I've got this year, because that's all we've got. Because everything's been cancelled, mate, which is pretty dog shit, and a lot of athletes are quite frustrated with it, but we can't do anything about it. But this happens in November, so I hope it's sort of everything's eased off by then. Because the last thing I want to do is qualify for this, get in the top 20 online, and then be like, "Oh, you can't go."
Yeah.
And then it'll be a hard pill to swallow, mate.
Yeah, definitely. Well, fingers crossed, and hopefully we are getting somewhere where we can keep working towards those goals and stuff like that. So, let's hope we get out of this lockdown soon. So, so just before we go, do you just want to give people a heads up where they can find more information about you and stuff?
I've got Facebook, Dean McVie Strength, but I'm not really on it. But on Instagram, I'm really active on it. So, obviously, you've got your own Instagram and all that kind of stuff. Your coaching and that. I'm just the same. If you're at any point of contact, it's just on Instagram. It's the main tool at the moment. Just adapting. That's it. Hopefully I helped a couple on it.
You don't have to say it, but do you still have your personal Snapchat?
Yes, I do.
I love that. It's probably one of my most entertaining things to watch ever. So,
well, Steve is still the manager Pure Gym at Ocean Terminal. I FaceTimed him when I was in Las Vegas, live. Remember that?
Oh, yeah. I think everyone...
And I was in Hooters Hotel, Casino, and I was FaceTiming him.
And bearing in mind with the time change, it was about 11 o'clock back here or something, or at some random time. So I'm just sitting in the office going, "All right, Dean." It was brilliant. So we'll wrap up there, mate. Once again, thanks very much for coming on. Guys, I hope you enjoyed that episode, and we'll see you in the next episode soon.
Cheers, Steve.